What's up, everybody? Zach here with the NerdCave. I'm joined along with the bearded sultan himself,
Derek Daniel.
Derek.
We are back to full capacity now. We are at full power now.
Yeah, we're at full power. You know, Wonder Twins activate. I'm glad you're back. You know,
Yeah,
I missed you last week.
I know. I miss being here. Like, it was a last minute thing. Like, 3 people didn't show up to the evening shift. And 2 of them that are, let's say, well, 2 people did no called, no showed. The third person was supposed to be here like at 4. We called him at 4:30 and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be late." And then show up, like, apparently he showed up like before 7, so it was like right after I left he came in, and I'm like, "Where were you when I needed you, my guy?" Like,
Yeah.
so it was like 6:30 when I actually got to leave the store, and I'm just like, I don't even know if I'm gonna have the energy to come back and do.
Yeah. Well, thankfully last week wasn't a ton of like having to like a lot of discussion stuff. It was more like,
Yeah,
this is what happened. 4 people got laid off, and
yeah.
guess what, guys? You didn't escape it. This week more
I
people
know
got
it
laid
is.
off,
It's still
unfortunately.
more layoffs, but at least it's some good news sprinkled in with it. Maybe.
Yes, this week, thankfully.
So.
Sorry. I'm boom, there we go. Having to correspond with Bride at the same time. But yeah, I'm glad that we're back together.
I know. So, and you know, I was telling him before the show. I was telling you before the show. I'm just like, man, I forgot like Discord needed an update. I'm on top of that and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, how do I turn on my camera? Like, it feels like this last week has been such a grind that it feels like we've been off for a month.
Yeah.
At least on my end. You are different because you stream twice a week.
Well, even so, Tuesday I literally streamed just from my phone. I didn't even like set up the rest of the stuff because we had a wedding on Saturday, and I was like, I am tired. I am not going to deal with this. And yeah, it was yeah. But here we are, guys. Here we go.
You're like, Goku, give me your energy.
Yeah. Pretty much, man. Pretty much. That's where I'm at. Today was a rough day as well. So
No, hopefully you go into an easy weekend.
yeah, that's where sorry. This bride's blowing my phone up saying how great we are. That's awesome. But yeah, this weekend supposed to be chill. We're going to go watch Taylor Swift this weekend.
Oh, the Eras Decade or whatever it is, or like an actual live performance.
The movie version of the Eras tour. She's putting it out in theaters and everything. So I bought tickets for it months ago now. Like it was literally selling out. Like
oh yeah, her fans are ridiculously crazy. So if you didn't buy it right when it went up, you're not getting it last minute.
It was like, all right. It was just like, let's go type deal. So I was like, all right, we getting this.
All right. How about this? You probably could get tickets last minute, but it's going to be triple the price of what they normally would be.
Yeah, like okay, I see what this is. All right. Sorry. Yeah, like for both of us, it was like $50.
Yeah.
Which is a lot for, but it's like a 3-hour experience.
Right.
So, you
get your money's worth.
Yeah, like we watched the Reputation concert a few months ago, and it was really good. So I can only imagine how awesome this one's going to be. Jess, welcome. Hope you're doing well tonight. Let us know how you and the rest of the Philippians are. Now, Derek, have you finished Ahsoka?
I have. I've been waiting to actually talk to you about this because I was able to catch up and then watch the finale actually on the day it premiered. So
okay,
yeah, I'm all finished.
Thoughts?
Really great intrigue, really great extended lore. But if there's not a season 2, the ending will have fallen flat because like, do I put it up there? Like, because I know you are mixed about Andor, but in the last year, Andor and Kenobi have been peak Star Wars. Like, and I know Mando season 3, like, was hit or miss. Like, it got better toward the end, where the beginning we were like, what is this? Like, what is even the purpose of this story? But to me, Kenobi and Andor told really great stories, and Ahsoka had that premise. But I felt like, to me, and while it was great seeing the guy who portrayed Thrawn, like who voiced Thrawn in the Rebels animated show, to me, Thrawn felt like he had missed a step. Now, granted, he has been away; he's been at another galaxy, just plotting his return. But it felt like he didn't feel like Thrawn until the finale. Like those couple episodes leading into it, just felt like, okay, you're not like super. I know you've not handled Ahsoka up until this point, but it's like it feels like you're playing it safe and not just taking those like big moves that you normally would. Like I don't know. There was definitely some negatives that I had with the show, but and at the end, like it took me a minute to realize what happened at the end with Skull, and I was like, okay, now you have my intrigue if you continue this.
Yeah, I think it's more of him like he doesn't move super quick on anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of a normal thing. And it feels like the timeline for this was a much quicker compared to like Rebels, where he had time to like, study and like have plans and all of that, and this was like he was more on the fly type deal.
Like shooting from the hip.
So I still think like he like did a good job.
Like the portrayal was good. It's just like Thrawn, like the grand strategist, didn't feel like he came to fruition.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from on that. I think if we get hopefully we'll get a season 2. Hopefully we'll get Heir to the Empire. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
For the second season,
Me too. Like that's so great to see, and like especially like again, there's so many cliffhangers. Like certain like I don't want to go too much into spoiler territory here. I know it's finished, but we're only a week removed from the finale. Like a certain character went back to the regular galaxy, certain characters didn't, and it's like. And there's like, and it seems like they're leaving so much more intrigue on the planet they were on. By the way, quick point of order. I love my inner God of War. I'm upset that I didn't catch this until like episode 5 when they get to the other galaxy. But when they say, "Oh, this is like the mercenaries, Skull and Hotzi," I'm like, the wolves from Ragnarok. Like I know they're from Norse mythology originally, but I'm like,
Mm.
oh, the wolves from Ragnarok, the sun and the moon. That's so cool.
I didn't catch that either.
Yeah, like
I didn't catch
it
that
wasn't
either.
like, of course, they introduced us like, oh, this is Balin's skull, and this is his apprentice. And then when they said the last name Hatzi, it's like it clicked. I'm like, where do I know this from? And I'm like, I thought about it. I'm like, the sun and moon, and it's
Huh.
and it's and it's so on the nose because of their garbs too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah.
I didn't think of that until literally right now. Like
Yeah.
you bringing it up, and I'm like, okay, sun and moon, the dark, the white, like
Mm-hmm.
night, day.
Yep. So
So
now where's Kratos? But thoughts, because I want to ask, because you were big on, what was it, episode 4, with that cliffhanger, like that little surprise came at the end, like that whole
mhm.
sequence, like leading up to it, and like the whole like um lesson it was showing the viewers. I'm like, huh. And like the whole like inner, like the more you learned about Ahsoka in that moment, the reason why she's been so distant with training people and like not wanting and like breaking off from the Jedi Order, and now like how she initially, like, minor spoilers here, turned away for like 10 seconds, how she initially blamed herself for Anakin turning, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. And then like basically her being forgiven for that, and it's like it wasn't your fault, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
oh, my heart.
yeah. That whole episode was so good.
It
Just
was.
I'm very curious what they're going to do with the next season, especially setting
Yeah.
up a lot of, like you said, a lot of threads have been put out there.
Mhm.
With Ray Stevens unfortunately passing away, I'm not
Right.
sure what they're going to do with that.
Yeah. I mean, of course, the easy thing is they can recast him, because I felt like his plot point at the end of the show was too important to, like, it just showed him going off to find, like, quote unquote purpose, and like them not touching it. You wouldn't have thought, all right, this is him just rolling off the sunset. This is the proper ending for his character. We won't see him again. But
Yeah,
because they touched on it at the end, it's like you got to at least recast him to finish that point up.
yeah. So, I definitely like the image where he is at the end of the episode. I'm
Yeah.
like, I need this.
Right. Me too.
I need this. And then the white owl that is near Ahsoka,
Yes.
hinting back to Rebels. Anytime you saw her, there was always the owl type bird
Hmm.
thing and everything. So,
For
yeah,
those of you wanting a hint at what it just watch what was it, season 4 of Clone Wars?
I can't remember what season is.
So, but yeah, just it's either season 4 or 5, one of the two. Just go watch that. Just go and you'll get your idea. I do, what was it? What else was going to point out? And I lost it. Oh, I really hope, because I know, not to say that it didn't tell an important story, but, and we all know Dave Filoni likes his weapons, I guess now, especially because there was this new weapon that was introduced, or a weapon that was brought back from the animated shows on the dark side. Like on the with the Night Sisters. I really
Mhm.
hope that doesn't become the new dark saber, and like everyone's fighting for that. You know what I mean? Like I really don't, because while the dark saber was good, it told the story it needed to, and now it's like done after season 3 of Mando. But I really hope this new weapon they introduced doesn't
No,
become like the new.
no, because we see where that weapon lays, and it's just kind of it was more the wielder than the weapon. I want to say
Fair. Okay, that's
she
fair.
became the weapon
Yeah.
essentially. But yeah, I'm excited to see where season 2 takes us, because this is by far the best Star Wars we've gotten in a while, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people like Andor. Halfway through, I was like, okay, this is better than it was. But
Yeah.
everything else has been kind of lackluster in my opinion. So
you did you not like Kenobi?
Kenobi was all right. It wasn't like amazing.
Yeah.
The Vader fight was cool.
Yes.
But the rest of it was kind of like it wasn't amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it was just like, all right. And like Obi-Wan was kind of annoying at the beginning, to be honest. He's like,
I can see that. I can see that.
Not my Obi-Wan. Not my Obi-Wan.
What do you think of just over the because we've popped up. What do you think of Hayden Christensen's like recent resurgence as like coming back into Anakin?
I like it, dude. I think he got a lot of hate for no reason.
Oh, for sure.
He was literally just performing the lines and the direction that he was given. And
right.
George is not great with love stories. He's like a cardboard cutout of a person when it comes to love stories. He's like, yeah, that looks like love. You know what I mean? So like seeing him being able to come back and like get to revise the role and actually get to give subtlety to the role as well, that it's not just screaming or brooding, like there's a lot of more depth to the character now than what we saw in the prequel series and everything, and bringing in the character that we saw during the Clone Wars, that I think is really, really cool.
Yes.
It's not just the movie version, like Hayden is actually getting to act with that lore as well. So I'm really, really excited. And we said seeing Anakin has been awesome. I 100% agree.
Yeah. And I just seeing him, I know he was just like a hologram in the ship at when he said it, but I was just like, hearing him just call Ahsoka Snips was all I needed. I'm just like, thank you.
Well, he said Snips when she went to
that place.
That place that we can't talk about.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that, but yeah, just just hearing it was just like, I'm back at home.
Yeah, hearing Hayden say it, because he never got to say it.
Right.
Because it's always been the animated version and everything. So
right.
But yeah, I enjoyed Ahsoka, and I agree with Marilyn. Great show. So yeah, very, very excited to see where we go from here, and it being completely Filoni show. Definitely see the thought was throughout instead of like bits and pieces.
His other live action stuff, like he's directed a few episodes here and there, but he's always been more in the background with other people. He pretty much directed every, or at least wrote every episode of this show, and it's, again, you can see it. And plus, Ahsoka was his original creation. That's his baby. He's going to make darn sure it is done his way, the right way.
Yep, 100%. And you can see it within like the whole show. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and when Filoni has done an episode, it's always one of the best written episodes.
Sure. So, Mando season 2.
Yep, and 2.5 as well. I don't know if he did those 2 episodes, but
yeah,
Boba Fett, the 2 episodes in Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Thank you, love, for sending a name. Well, guys, let me hit Jess's comment. Asked how they were doing. Said, we're struggling around here. We've been crazy sick with the cooties. Well, circle, dot, dot. Now you've got your cootie shot. So hopefully y'all get to feeling better. But definitely we'll be keeping y'all in our prayers, though, so y'all feel better. Like, it's
for sure.
It's not fun.
But also,
being sick.
I was gonna say, how old are you? But we're the same age, so that's I'm gonna out myself. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't heard that in a minute.
In a hot minute. But yeah, like I've been getting over a cold. Amy's been sick this week. Like, it's just been like
that fall weather, man.
Yeah, I know. So, and it's like, I just want to feel good and be able to, you know, have a
Go Super Saiyan.
yeah, go plus ultra. You know what I
Speaking,
mean?
like going off. Speaking, I'm glad you mentioned Plus Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
Going on a quick little anime side tangent here. You know what's good chicken noodle soup for you? Because I granted I haven't seen it, but I just saw that it started this week or this past week. You need to go. You don't forget. Season 2 of Spy Family has started.
I know I had seen it start coming out. I'm waiting
Mhm.
for the dub because we watched
Oh,
it dub. So
oh, that's right. It was Demon Slayer season 3 that you didn't wait to finish dubbing. That you just
yeah,
watched the rest
yeah.
in sub.
But Amy and I watched Spy Family together, so it's definitely has to be dubbed. She's not gonna put up with the with that. So I don't know like how many weeks behind it is when it's probably like 3 or 4 weeks or something like that per episode.
A lot of the anime schedules, depending upon when they can get the materials over from Japan, so the American voice actors can start recording. So usually with the more popular ones, it's faster. So
Mm-hmm.
it should only be like 2 or 3 episode difference before they start dubbing it.
Okay, so only time will tell. Only time will
Hmm.
tell. Amy said, "Yeah, no subs around here." I
We
did.
watch American.
I like I said, I have been watching Team 4 Star.
Oh yeah.
I'm now in the Android saga. So like I didn't watch into the Android saga. So like a lot of this is like newer stuff for me. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So did you watch the washing machine part?
Oh yeah. It's so good. It's totally not
Vegeta
fair
is a
with me.
gem.
Yeah. I think that's the best version of Vegeta is Team 4 Star Vegeta. So
He is.
and then I watched a few episodes of Vinland Saga season 2.
Mm.
So like I watched like
Now
one or
that you
two.
know the order of things, you're not
Yeah,
starting from the
yeah.
back.
But it did like a flashback and it had my dude on there, Asklud.
Hmm.
Uh
Hmm.
and he's voiced by Madara's like Japanese voice actor.
Right.
So like when that popped up, I paused it and then switched to Japanese and put subtitles on just so I could hear his voice. And that's because I watched season 1 completely subbed. So I was
Right.
like, I want to hear his voice. And then it was like only 10 seconds and then the flashback was done. So then I like swapped it back to English. You know how it goes.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to get into the news this week. For everyone that
Yeah.
is new here, we do reintroduce the show. So everybody is fresh and ready to go into this. So we're going to reintroduce everything. We want your thoughts. We want your opinions on the topics tonight. So make sure you clacking them keyboards, you typing with them thumbs, however many fingers you got, you typing with all of them. And don't wait until we're done discussing it to jump into the conversation. Make sure when we're talking about it, you have a thought, go ahead and start typing. That way we can bring it up when we get into the discussion portion
Mhm.
of each topic so we don't miss it. That's one of the things that I hate the most is like someone has like a really good discussion point and
Mhm.
we're already past. It's like it's already
Yeah.
done. It's
Yeah.
gone with the wind, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rhett Butler, Derek.
Oh. Yep. It took me a minute. I was like, huh. I was like, okay, who do I know? Oh, from marching band days.
No, Derek. Gone with the Wind, the movie,
Oh.
the
Well,
classic movie. Rhett Butler.
I never watched Gone with the Wind.
Derek, this is like, you don't even have to watch the movie to know who Rhett Butler is.
Sure. We'll just move on.
I'm not moving on here. Derek, you don't know who Rhett Butler is.
No. Oy vey. I should have just said yes and just moved on. But
He's a fictional character. Did you know that?
I mean, I could imagine. Yes.
Do you know who Clark Gable is?
I've heard that name, yes.
Okay. That's who played Rhett Butler.
Oh. Okay.
You still anyway.
You act like this means something to me.
Derek, this movie was put out. Can you tell me when this movie was put out?
Like the Sure. Like the 70s?
Nope. Older than that.
40s?
You're close. You're really, really close.
Higher or lower?
Lower.
The 20s.
1939.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, Derek.
Listen.
Derek.
Now, see, that does make me feel old because I have watched Wizard of Oz. So.
Ask your mama. Like, when you
I know she knows. She knows.
When you see her next, be like, Mama, tell me about Rhett Butler. And then she gonna give you everything you need to know, Derek. She'll give you everything you need to know. I'm disappointed in you.
I mean, that's a weekly occurrence at this point. Let's be fair.
True that. All right, guys, let's get into the show this week. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This week in gaming, Telltale Games lays off staff members, Unity CEO leaves the company, and Disney might be considering buying EA. This is the NerdCave News, and I am your illustrious host, Zach Dykes, joined along with the man that doesn't know who Rhett Butler is, also known as a cunning and ruthless leader who rose through the ranks of the Imperial forces with a singular ambition to aid the Empire in its quest of domination. Known for his strategic brilliance and reputation for using unorthodox tactics to achieve his objectives, he had a personal vendetta against the Rebel Alliance, stemming from the tragic incident in his past, which fueled his unwavering loyalty to the Emperor. It is none other than General Malachar Voss.
I like the Star Wars reference, and I like the little Thrawn backstory with it as well, like the intrigue as well. Huh?
Might be Malachar. Okay. It might be General Malachar. That sounds way better than the way I said it the first time. So yeah, General Malachar Voss.
So
General Rhett Butler.
No, we're not doing another John Stevenson. Just no. Oh, so we haven't done this in a couple weeks. Let's rank this name. So, again, looking at that top 10, we got King Darkheart, Inspector Percival Ravenscroft, Zephyr Sahar the Genie, Victor Van Housen the Vaudevillian Vampire, Sarah Solthura the Secret Keeper, Max Steelheart Champion of the World, Combat Master Vexar Skirata, Telolokan the Sun God King, Thorod Rygason the Warrior King, and Galrinth, Bringer of Death. That top 3, man, that's just, it can't be touched, in my opinion. Like,
it's very good.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's... My thing is, it's like General Malachar Voss. Oh... While the backstory is good, the name sticks most of it, but not. I'm gonna put it just under the top 10 at number 11.
There we go. Everything can't be top. You know what I mean? Like
exactly
can't hit the top. You know,
Which is
sometimes
okay.
that's okay because there's some strong ones in there.
Yes.
Victor Van Housen, the vaudevillian vampire, one of my favorites.
Right.
One of my
So
favorites. You know, my number one, John
should be
Stevenson.
number 31.
John Stevenson. Amy said, "I almost made you a hairdresser with magic scissors tonight." So there you go, there.
Well, that probably would have been right above John Stevenson because I'm going to make sure that name stays at the bottom.
See, it's like if it strokes your ego, it goes up top. If it doesn't, then it goes further down.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh, it's the truth. It's the truth.
I still say 2 weeks ago, I still say that John Stevenson I ranked too high.
Okay, princess.
I know. That and Delphina Warrior Princess are like the bottom two of the barrel.
Guys, this episode is brought to you by the Epic Game Store, where you can support us by using creator code NerdCave at checkout on anything in the store, V-Bucks, free games, all of that. It's no charge to you, and it goes to help us out. It's also brought to you by Coffee Brain Coffee and our wonderful patrons, but more about that later. Let's get into what is and what forever will be the gaming discussion. First up, Telltale Games confirms layoffs in development. Games remain in production.
And the hits keep coming and they won't stop coming, but they need to stop coming. So, like, just this is like a 4-week running theme at this point with layoff news. Former Telltale Games cinematic artist Jonah Huang revealed on Twitter that he had been laid off from the studio in early September. In his tweet, he writes that Telltale laid most of us off in early September, and that the layoffs occurred weeks after the company acquired UK-based studio Flavorworks, which developed Erica. Telltale has now confirmed to Game Informer that layoffs at the studio did occur, although its official statement features no mention of just how many employees were let go. The statement doesn't mention severance or laid-off employees, but Huang notes on Twitter that he's received a severance package. Here's Telltale's statement to Game Informer in full. Quote, due to current market conditions, we regrettably had to let some of our Telltale team go. We do not take this action lightly, and our commitment to storytelling and finding new ways to do so remains the same. We are grateful to everyone for their dedication along this journey, and we are working to support everyone impacted. All projects currently in development are still in production, and we have no further updates at this time. Game Informer asked Telltale how many employees it laid off, but was not able to receive specific numbers, departments affected, or further updates beyond the above statement on in-development projects. However, as previously noted, Huang, who goes by JH according to their website, says Telltale laid most of us off. These Telltale layoffs come years after the studio's 2019 resurrection by new management. In 2018, the studio laid off 90% of its staff before eventually closing altogether later that year. Pre-closure, Telltale was perhaps best known for its 4-season episodic game, The Walking Dead. Roughly a year after its closure, the company was purchased in 2019 by its now CEO, Jamie Ottilie, however you pronounce it, and investors with the desire to bring the narrative-based studio back to life. The new Telltale appeared with a trailer at the Game Awards 2019 for its new take on The Wolf Among Us 2, a sequel that was reportedly in development at the previous iteration of the studio. The last we heard of the game was back in March, when Telltale revealed it was delaying it out of 2023 and into next year. Man, I don't, obviously, you don't, the obvious question is, like, does Wolf Among Us come out? Because I feel like that's the obviously they already, quelled that, squashed that question. The question I want to pose is, like, is Telltale Games just cursed as a studio?
I don't think it's just Telltale. I think it's industry wide right now.
I mean, yes, I mean for sure, but it's just like, man, Telltale can't catch a break lately. It feels like.
Well, you look at all the ones that we've recently been talking about, except for Team 17, I think was also last week.
Yeah.
But all the other ones have bought and acquired more developers. Embracer Group, Epic, now Telltale. All of these companies are acquiring more studio and more overhead by buying up more people, essentially buying more companies. And when you do that, there are redundancies, there are things. And when you're looking at the market and everything's an upswing, you're like, oh, great, we can definitely do this. But now,
Right.
inflation, recession, yada, yada, yada. And that's like, okay, we've got to keep looking like we're making money hand over fist, which is not possible. There's eventually where a point where you level off and you're only going to make so much money. And stockholders have an issue when it doesn't look like you're making exuberant amount of money, when you've been making exuberant amount of money and there's been exuberant amount of growth. And Telltale, on the other hand, isn't really in that department compared to like Epic. I don't even remember the last time we got a Telltale game. Maybe.
Well, they did
Tales
that
of the
Expanse.
Borderland.
They got that like since they've been revived, they put out the Expanse, like based off the TV show one. Like it was a different project. Like it still was Telltale in its framework, but it wasn't Telltale at its core in terms of like the choice-based narrative. Like they had choices, but it was a different type of gameplay for Telltale. So, and I forget when exactly that came out. I want to say it came out. I know it was July, but I can't remember if it was this year or last year.
Let's see. On their website. See if they give me a date. No, they did not give me a date. Okay, July 27th.
Oh, this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay.
Now, I really did enjoy the Batman games. I think Telltale, this is pre-closure. I think those were really good. The Wolf Among Us, amazing. On their website, they do not have any of the Walking Dead stuff on here, though.
Interesting.
They do have a career pages. Our opening. Sorry, we do not currently have any opening positions. I'm glad that they're not listing openings on their website and everything. But yeah, like to Joe's point, I'm glad I'm not working in the gaming industry, and Amy agreeing with him. And it's literally week after week we continue to hear more and more people being let go. I watched a video earlier this week on this, and it's not just the ones that are getting talked about. There's different ways of that this is occurring as well. A lot of it is contract work.
Right.
Contract workers that are getting let go that aren't necessarily employees.
Right.
So they don't have to say, oh, we let go of people. We're not doing layoffs. It's just contract work. And that's something that the gaming industry has done for a very long time, but it is rampant right now. And I'm I know last week I was talking about layoffs and everything, and Cody said, it's actually a sign that that things are kind of righting themselves and everything and all this kind of stuff in the market.
Yeah.
Which it's like
it's course correction.
It's like, yes, that might be so, but it really sucks at the same time.
Yeah.
I just hate that the companies they're so greedy with expansion or their bottom line that they're willing to can people just to be able to look like they're making more money.
Correct.
And it's like, it's one thing to let go of people because like there's no other alternative, but then you look at Epic, they're making money hand over fist. They're making money hand over fist, and it just sucks. It really does.
It is. So, and I get, the stuff happens, but at the same time, at the cost of lining your own pockets, no bueno.
Yeah, no bueno at all. Let's talk about some interesting news. I was not expecting this to pop up, but hey, it's something. John Riccitiello retires as president and CEO of Unity in company leadership shakeup.
Unity has announced that current president, chief executive officer, chairman, and a member of the company's board of directors, John Riccitiello, has retired from his role effective immediately. In wake of Riccitiello's departure, James M. Whitehurst has been appointed interim CEO, president, and a member of the board, while Riolaf Bota has been made chairman. Speaking in wake of the news, Bota commented, quote, "Working with Unity under John's leadership has been one of the highlights of my career. John joined the Unity board in 2013 and stepped in to lead the company in 2014 at a time when we faced significant challenges. John has led Unity through incredible growth over the last nearly 10 years, helping us transition from a perpetual license to a subscription model, enabling developers to monetize, building other game services to serve our creator community, leading us through an IPO and positioning us as a pioneer in the developer community. Unity would not be where it is today without the impact of his contributions. I remain excited for the future of Unity." Meanwhile, Riccitiello added, "It's been a privilege to lead Unity for nearly a decade and serve our employees, customers, developers, and partners, all of whom have been instrumental to the company's growth. I look forward to supporting Unity through this transition and following the company's future success." Now, this can go. I'm of two mindsets here. Either one, he felt like, yes, I got us to this point, but now I'm facing so much backlash, let me just step down to at least quell the masses and like let them just work on what fixing the subscription model that we want developers to do going forward. But also my other camp is, because of yes, now obviously, yes, when Jim Ryan retired, Phil Spencer gave that very uplifting, thing about how he's been a fierce leader in the industry. Like, he could have just bashed him, but I felt like all this created like negative press that stemmed from the Unity changing their subscription model. That they needed someone to fall on the sword, and they're like, some of the quote from Bota just made it feel like, oh, he's been a great leader, blah blah blah, and it's like, we need you to take the fall for us, my guy, so we can continue doing this.
Yeah, it definitely does seem to be more of the stuff has hit the fan type deal.
Yeah.
And they have stepped back on things.
Oh
But
yeah.
the quote, I wanted to point this out, and I want to bring it into where Riccitiello was before as well, where they went from a perpetual license to a subscription model, where
Right.
it would used to be pretty much a lifetime. You buy it once and that's it. But now it's a subscription model. This is something that he is known for, is to be able to make more money from it, because he was at EA. He was the CEO of EA before
Oh.
Andrew Wilson got there. And he's the one that introduced the My Team and the card packs in Madden and FIFA.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So
Woof. That tracks now.
yeah. So this is something that he is known for, is putting like microtransactions, trying to get as much out of the customer, and the customers for Unity are game developers.
Yeah.
And I know that this is a lot of this is PR. Riccitiello
Yeah.
will, more than likely end up being on some other board, or,
Oh yeah.
doing something else within the industry, that sort of deal, because he's able to turn revenue. Because with the My Teams, the success of that has definitely been under Andrew Wilson and everything. But
So what?
it started
Go.
with him. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
I was just gonna say, you're essentially saying that he's the godfather of microtransactions.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Great.
um,
So.
my question for you, do you feel like now that Riccitiello is, effectively immediately stepped down, they're putting someone else in there, do you feel like that is a signal to indie developers that, hey, we're really trying here, uh, do you feel
It,
like a lot of people are going to buy that, or do you think that they're going to be smart enough to see that this is a smoke and mirrors kind of thing, and that they're going to continue to go forward the way they're planning to do?
I don't want to say it's a smoke and mirrors just yet. It's going to be because they're pulling it back. They said this is not going to start till next year now. What they plan to do, and they're going to revamp it. It's going to depend on when they decide to come out and unveil their revamped plans for this subscription model, how it's going to be. Because if it's going to be just slightly tweaked and it's still going to be negative for developers and publishers, it's just smoke and mirrors. However, if they come out and be like, well, you know what, maybe we should get some feedback on what they would like to see different. Like, I feel like I don't think they're going to go away from the subscription model. That's for sure. I think developers are just going to have to deal with that. Uh, and I don't mean that as like, oh, just deal with it type of thing. It's just going to be like, oh man, we have no other choice but to deal with the subscription model. But if it's more friendly to where it's like, you scratch our back, we'll scratch your type of thing, then I feel like this step down will be beneficiary. But again, if it comes out and is just slightly tweaked to where it's like, all right, we'll give you a crumb, but we're not giving you half, and then it's just going to be smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. I'm looking real quick. Unreal Engine, Unity, Godot, Game Maker, Build Docs, Coco's, Lumberyard, Construct, CryEngine. So there are a few others out there that you can pay to be able to use and everything. Unity is definitely one of the more prevalent in the indie space. I feel like a lot of people are getting into Unreal Engine. Again, that is also, you have to pay for that.
Right.
You're not getting around that side of thing. It's more of you're having to pay for per install. That's the biggest issue here with the Unity instance. So I think a lot of this is he's having to fall on his own sword. But
Right, for sure.
I hope and pray that coming out the other end of this, that Unity will be smarter and that they won't be greedy and money grubbing, because a lot of these indie developers, it's like a 1 to 25 people studio. They're, it's passion projects, it's smaller things. And yes, you have these big successes like Among Us and even Fall Guys when it first came out. Yes, those are indie projects and everything, and they blew up, but not every indie game is like that.
You got to be some kind of special.
Yeah, and when those blew up, it was a global pandemic when people were inside. They were literally, nobody was
I
doing
was gonna say,
anything.
yeah, because up until the pandemic, Among Us had been out for a few years, but no one said anything about it. Then all of a sudden, when they were locked in and Twitch streamers needed something to play, this game blew off, and now it's like now you see plushes and all this kind of merch for it that you wouldn't have seen 2 years, or it's the 2 years prior to the blow up.
Yeah, so only time will tell, but we will see going forward. What will Unity do? Yeah.
Yep.
But guys, if you want some delicious coffee, if you're a coffee drinker, you know what I mean? You get up in the morning and you need a little pick me up. You know what I mean? You're in the middle of the day, Derek. It's that sleepy,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like you just ate. Your body's working on it, and you need to keep going. Well, guys, we got a awesome coffee company that is a sponsor of the show, Coffee Brand Coffee. They got exceptional quality coffee, no gimmicks and no politics. They have nearly 4,000 verified reviews, mostly 5 out of 5s, which means that the customers are happy. The customers are happy. They got 12 coffee blends, 12 organic teas, 3 hot cocoa flavors. They got cold brew and K-Cups available. Some ones that Amy has liked. She got the medium roast blend coffee K-Cup. Absolutely delicious. Got to get her some more. She's already drank all of it. She's been in love with that. And she got the chai tea, and she said that is very good as well. So they got a ton of them. They might still have some fall flavors. I'm not 100%. Not 100% if they do. They did just introduce a new K-Cup as well. It's like a strawberry flavor. It sounded very delicious. Very delicious. But the thing that gets me, Derek, is that all this, the freshness is guaranteed because they roast it to order. So when you order it, they go and roast it. It's not just sitting in a bag getting stale. You want stale coffee. Old beans. None of that. None of that. So, guys, elevate your coffee game with some coffee brand coffee. Use code NerdCave at checkout or the link in the description below to get 5% off your order today. Now, this is what I want to talk about, Derek. I want to see what the craziness is going on here, because I got thoughts. I got thoughts.
Okay. All right.
Disney has reportedly been considering acquiring EA, as President Bob Iger said to be under pressure to make the company a bigger player in gaming.
More money, more money. Disney is reportedly considering acquiring Electronic Arts in a move that would be designed to make Disney an instant big player within the games industry. According to a new feature from Bloomberg, the move to acquire EA is being pushed by senior executives trying to whisper in President Bob Iger's ear, though the feature claims that Iger's been non-committal to the idea of acquiring EA. If EA were to be acquired by Disney, that would definitely make the Mickey Mouse Company an instantly massive publisher in the industry with the power of the EA Sports division alone. Never mind the EA Entertainment side on top of that, especially considering all the IP Disney has under the belt that could now potentially be put to even more use in games that it already is. Man, like, it's crazy to think that they could cuz you got to think about it. Disney already has a premium on sports by owning ESPN and ABC. So they've already got that market share right there. Like, if they own Madden and FIFA, can you imagine the craziness that was? Because fun fact, on what was it, one of the NFL games they did in the last couple weeks, they did it because you know how Nickelodeon started airing NFL games from time to time last year, and they put their Nickelodeon spin with like the animations, like whenever someone scored a touchdown, they did the slime effect and all that kind of stuff. They did a Toy Story collab where they put the players as Toy Story characters on the animation screen during the game, and I'm like, that's interesting. So it's like, what is Disney trying to do? Are they trying to put more of a premium, like getting more audiences in the sports realm? But yeah, just like, and I mean, we've seen Disney already partner with EA in the past, like, albeit it didn't really go smoothly when they did that 10-year deal with EA to do Star Wars, and then they nixed it halfway through, or nixed it shortly before it was supposed to end. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I agree with Amy here 100%.
Okay.
Disney needs to stop spreading wide and go deeper with what it has. Quality over quantity.
Fair.
And Disney did have a gaming division for a while. We saw a lot of games come out of them. The Disney Infinity games was one of their big projects that they did.
Yep.
And I think they've definitely seen a great deal of success with partnering with other developers. Sucker Punch, not Sucker Punch, Insomniac being the best one that I think. I think Disney Dreamlight Valley has been doing really well monetization wise, and it's been, a lot of people really like it. Disney buying EA, I feel like, is an interesting choice. I think that EA could sell. I know that there's been hints and rumors that they've wanted to sell a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
It is a bigger one, but they have not been putting out a ton of blockbuster games.
Right.
In
Like,
recent
just
years.
the start, you're about to say the only two that come to mind within the last half decade has been Star Wars Jedi.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor are the only ones that really, and yes, EA Sports Football or whatever they're calling it now instead of FIFA, and Madden, like, they're making a ton of money off of that and the My Team stuff every year. But other than that, they are not really putting out a lot of great quality games. We saw Avium. What was that game that just came out?
Immortals of Avium. Yeah.
Like, they're already downsizing the team. They're already laying
a month
people
after
off.
the game came out.
Yeah. So that going into what Disney is doing right now, they're also losing money hand over fist. They're not making a ton of money with Disney Plus, and they keep bringing up the cost of Disney Plus over and over multiple times a year. And they lost a huge contract over in India, which they saw billions of dollars being lost on that.
Woof.
Um,
Woof.
so, and the parks are not as full as they used to be because the cost is exuberant to go to Disney World. So they're not making a ton of money. They've had several flops in the theaters over the last few years because they keep putting out just junk. Like nothing is new, nothing is exciting. Let's just give them another Marvel movie and we're going to half do the graphics and, oh, let's just retell the story again. You know, people are kind of tired of Disney because they're not giving anything worth watching or worth investing in. And that's why they brought Bob Iger back. And if Bob is, you know, he's very business savvy. I think, you know, he really ushered in a good part of Disney. I like Michael Eisen. Was it Michael Eisenhuth? Something like that. He was the one in the 90s. Amazing. But I don't think Disney buying a gaming company, especially EA, somebody that is not, you know, the king of the castle, is the best move. It's like trying to, the ship's already taking on water. Well, we'll help you bail out. And it's like, how about let's not? And let's, you know, if you're going to buy somebody that is in a way better position than EA.
Right. Well, and not to mention the fact is like not everyone has to have their hand in everything. Like they're not Google. Like Google has throwaway money. Disney, as you stated, like back maybe let's just say 15 years ago, they could probably do that. Now with like you said, the decline and just copy and pasting a lot of ideas, they've lost money. Like or they're not getting the ROI back for sure. With Google, they can say, "Oh, Google Glasses didn't work. Tax write-off. It doesn't matter. We're the largest search engine in the world. We're never gonna be out of money."
Yeah.
But you don't have to get into everything. Like you look at Ubisoft, right? Like Ubisoft is a prime example of not trying to put too many hands in the cookie jar at once. Like a new piece of tech comes out, Ubisoft is going to be wants to be the first one there developing games for it. But they even tried to branch off into entertainment, like with TV and movies, and that fell flat for them. Like they have not touched it since. So just because you want to get into another form of revenue doesn't mean that you should. Like yes, EA, you know, now if they were to buy Respawn, maybe you could get away with that. But you know, you need to buy. You have to buy the right gaming company that has the vision for what you're wanting to do instead of just making you more money and being the derivative for it. But I don't think Disney should get into gaming. Like they should continue to do what they, you know, like have relations and let developers use their properties to make games. But I don't think Disney themselves needs to worry about diving their hand into gaming and worry about fixing what they have in the movie and TV industry first.
Yeah, 100%. And they're having enough issues in that realm that they need to really focus it. And they've got parks. They've got literally attractions that you go to. So they're spread thin enough. And I think this would be a misstep.
Right. And just to well, I had a thought and it went away. But yeah, like just fix you know what, dance with the one that brought you. Like just because gaming is a you know a sexy market that you want to dive into doesn't mean you need to drop your hard-earned cash. But the devil's advocate in this is like, because you know what we heard like with the leak over the last couple months, especially with the leak court documents um from Microsoft, that they had thought about acquiring EA, or they've been like heavy partners with EA over the years. But Disney would be the only one to outbid Microsoft, in my opinion, to buying EA if they were to do it.
Yeah, I could see them. They would be more desperate for it than Microsoft would. I think Microsoft, once the whole Activision Blizzard thing finally goes through, I know the FTC is trying to block it again and all of that.
Yeah.
I think once they secure that, Microsoft is not going to be able to buy a major studio ever again. Like
No,
it's going to be where it's like you're going to have to home grow those things. You might be able to buy smaller developers, but you're not going to buy a major thing like that ever
Especially
again.
with all the hoops you like. Does Phil Spencer really want to jump through all those hoops again just to do that?
Yeah, like let's say they tried to buy Ubisoft, that wouldn't go through.
No, by no means would it go through.
So yeah, all in all, I think that back to what Amy said, they need to go deeper and not wider because they're just spreading themselves thin, and they're not making quality stuff at this point. Yes, Ahsoka was great, but that's a one-off. You know what I mean?
That's the diamond in the rough.
Yeah, and Disney has definitely been rough lately. Let's jump into some PlayStation news. A new, well, actually, two different models. New slim PS5 models with removable disk drives have been announced.
So this was just like, and like, talk about the 11th hour, because usually you would hear about this in like July to August, if they were going to do some new hardware. So the 11th hour, they come in and be like, "Oh, guys, we got new hardware coming out this holiday." Nearly 3 years after the initial launch of the PlayStation 5, Sony has revealed a slimmer redesign. Both the disc drive model and the digital model will be updated, but these two models aren't as different as they used to be. You will now be able to purchase a disc drive separately, allowing you to upgrade a digital model to a disc-compatible version. Both versions will be available this November and will eventually replace the current model of the PS5 altogether. Quote, "The new PS5 has been reduced in volume by more than 30% and weight by 18% and 24% compared to the previous models." The PlayStation blog post reads, it also mentions that the new covers have different textures, which isn't immediately clear from the pictures. Quote, "There are 4 separate cover panels." My gosh, why would you add more? It says, with the top portion in a glossy look, while the bottom remains in matte. This does raise questions about the compatibility of console shells Sony currently sells that allow you to change the look of your console, but this question is not addressed to the announcement. The slim PS5 with a disc drive will cost $500, with the digital version costing $450, a $50 increase from the original digital edition. If you do buy a newer digital version and decide to upgrade to a disc version, the drive will cost you $80. The total cost of a digital console and a disc drive is a little more expensive than buying a disc drive version outright. The console will include a new horizontal stand to set the console on its side, and a vertical stand will be available for $30. So what, like the slim, like having 4 components, I'm like, ugh, man, you just want me to try and break this thing, don't you? Like, but the fact, we see this, a new version comes out, they reduce the price of the previous versions and make the newer versions like the same price as the launch versions. Like we see it, that again, the $50 increase for the slim is a little bit surprising, but I'm assuming that it's demand, because they did make a lot of digital editions at the original launch and they sold like hotcakes. They were the first to go. I think they're like, all right, we want to, if this is the first version to go, we're going to make you pay a little bit more. But this goes back to the rumors, we saw about how they patented for a detachable disk drive, what we talked about beginning of the year. Yeah. And again, how we've seen since the PS5 before it launched, like all the rumors about them doing XYZ, and then all the components like with the access controller and all that kind of stuff that's been coming out. And this is another case where the leaks have been true. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think the $50 more is more of the storage, because both of these will be terabyte drives in them instead of 500 gigs. So I think that
fair.
That is some of it for sure.
Or the 600 gig. Like, well, I think it was even 800 gig, but because of the UI install, it ended up being like over 600 gigs of storage you could actually use. Yeah, they used a weird one for this launch.
Yeah, it also tells me that the plates are not selling as well. If they're willing to change literally the whole design so that the plates that have been going on and everything are, going to be just kind of nixed. And it's like it's a premium. If you don't get the disc drive right away, you're definitely going to pay more.
Yeah.
But the discless version, the digital version, looks sleek, dude. It does. So sleek.
It does. Like the disc version, like like the disc version, like looking at the pictures, like you would almost want to set it on the vertical stand because that thing looks like it's in its third trimester, about to give birth any day now.
Like like they made it so much more pronounced than
Right.
the original one. Like Blessing was Adeoye on
Blessing went in on that
oh
design.
my god, it was hilarious. But yeah, like it's definitely like the disk drive is just really big and
Yeah.
pronounced on there. I do
Yeah.
like that it's detachable. Like, you know, if I was going to get one, I would get the digital version. I'm not
Yeah.
going to be using, you know, it for,
Nope.
you know, I'm never going to use the disk drive. Like I've
Nope.
used my disk drive like maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
That's it. Literally, that's it.
And 2
So
of those were to play Ghost of Tsushima.
yeah, exactly. So with that being said, like yes, it is an increase in price. I'm wondering how much the original version is going to cost, if they're going to drop that at all. Because I haven't heard anything about that. If like the current PlayStation is going to be cheaper, or is it just going to run the same cost?
I feel like it will, because it's like, why would you outduel yourself? You know what I mean? Well, I mean, why would you
Yeah.
just put out hardware to just sit there and collect dust? At the same time, I feel like they don't want to overshadow. They want to show the shiny new object, because I feel like if they're like, all right, if they were to immediately say, oh yeah, and the original version is going to drop like $50 to $70, people were like, well, why do I want to buy just a slimmer version with a slightly bigger hard drive when I could buy the launch versions for cheaper? So I felt like they don't want to quell that thunder just yet, and that, you know, they're going to wait
Yeah.
till closer to launch to be like, all right, we're going to drop the price.
Yeah. And I know that Sony has said that once they're going to stop production on the old versions, and once it's sold out, the base versions are done. They're not going to make any more.
Or here's this, because I could see this. This is more of like a retail strategy than anything. They're gonna, because they said in November. They didn't say when in November. They're gonna wait till it's closer to Black Friday sales and be like, oh, here's our Black Friday sale for the original PS5 consoles, that they're gonna drop $50, and then after holidays over with, they're going to be that permanent price.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see
So,
that. But I'll raise you one.
okay.
GameStop is going to bundle the mess out of the old ones.
You know what? That's true. It's like, hey, we're gonna sell reduced PS5s, but if you buy the bundle, you get an extra controller and some games for the original price. And I'm like, of course. Oh,
Yep.
and that $100 gift card.
Yep. They're gonna bundle the mess out of that thing. And you know what's gonna be right there beside it?
The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Switch bundle.
Yep, 100%.
Back again for the 6th year in the row. 6 years running.
I'm gonna win. Let's jump into some more Sony news. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered may just have been confirmed.
So a Naughty Dog employee may have just confirmed The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is in fact real, because lead outsource artist Mark Pajarillo listed The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered on his LinkedIn page as a title he worked on. Pajarillo has since removed it from his page, though not before screenshots were captured of it, as Joe Miller 101 on Twitter did. In defense of Pajarillo, he's not the first one to seemingly let the cat out of the bag on the coming remaster. That honor goes to the composer Gustavo Santaolalla, who spoke about a new version of The Last of Us Part 2 in an interview, and now he's been added in the game as a character players can request songs from. And now that The Last of Us Part 1 has come to PC, this likely also means that we'll see The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered make the same jump, likely sometime after it arrives on PS5, if Naughty Dog follows the same pattern from The Last of Us Part 1.
But will it play on the PC at launch?
that part. Well, I feel like after this debacle from Part 1, they'll learn their lesson. Maybe.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I have a more interesting question about this. Like, obviously, you could see this writing on the wall. They want to strike while the iron is hot, because they wanted to build. The only reason they released, because, you know, when they released Part 1 Remake, on PS5, we all scratched our heads like, man, the game's not really that old.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted to do it in preparation for, like, in terms of doing a remake, but they wanted to do it in preparation for the Last of Us TV show.
Yep.
And now that that show was a huge success, like the game sales went up over 100%, hand over fist. They got a new influx of cash, and they've already confirmed a season 2. They want to strike while that iron is hot. It's like, hey, season 2 is coming out. It's going to be based on part 2. Let's have you replay through this on the brand new console. My question to you though is, because you talked about it, and this is one of the reasons why I hate missing last week, because Naughty Dog suffered
Mm-hmm.
layoffs last week in their studio, and with them having to navigate through this whole live service and them struggling with the multiplayer aspect of Last of Us and everything like that. What does this say for Naughty Dog? Like, are you worried at all for Naughty Dog that they could be kicked off the mountain as kings in Sony's stable?
Well, it goes back to what I said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
that these teams getting so big and
Mm-hmm.
bloated, that's where the layoffs are happening. And we kept talking about over and over throughout this whole year, Naughty
Mm-hmm.
Dog building up big teams and they're working on 3 or 4 games at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then last week, oh, they've got layoffs and the multiplayer game that we've been, looking for and everything kept
Right.
getting pushed. And now it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it might not even come out.
Yeah.
So that says to me that what Jim Ryan was wanting, the live service thing,
Mm-hmm.
is not really what Sony has been built for. It's not
Correct.
that kind of, company. And now it's like, okay, Naughty Dog is having issues. I don't know. To me, I feel like Santa Monica is going to take that position because
Mm-hmm.
they're not having those issues.
No.
You
At
know,
least not that they've let out.
yeah. But with, remastering Last of Us Part 2, yes, strike while the iron's hot, get it out there,
Mm-hmm.
get it on PC because it's never came to PC. Just like
Mm-hmm.
Horizon Forbidden West is coming to the PC and everything.
Yep.
These things need to come to that system because there are so many people. When PlayStation games come to PC, everybody goes crazy for them because they're such a quality
Exactly. I,
masterpiece. So
I
yeah.
mean, even the game we don't talk about anymore saw a resurgence, and like people like, well, maybe you should revisit a sequel, and then it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
So
100%. But yeah, I think Naughty Dog just got too big and this whole live service project isn't panning out. I don't like even Last of Us Part 1, like the first game, The Last of Us,
mhm.
the multiplayer part was okay. It wasn't like, "Oh my god, this is
Yeah,
amazing." It was like, "Okay, this is a different take on multiplayer and all of that kind of stuff." But Naughty Dog hasn't been great at multiplayer. I'm thinking even about Uncharted 4 had a
yeah,
multiplayer. It wasn't that great. You
no,
know what I mean? So it's like if you're not used to doing that, you're used to crafting a narrative and that sort of deal. I don't see how it's going to be, you know, great.
yeah, for sure. But moving on to the studio we just mentioned, and some good news, hopefully.
Hopefully. Rumor has it God of War Ragnarok half sequel or possible DLC in development at Santa Monica.
So Santa Monica is reportedly working on a new God of War content, which may include DLC for Ragnarok or even a half sequel. That's according to viewer Anon, who was responding to on Twitter to an IGN article regarding half sequels being the future of AAA game releases. This isn't the first time we've heard rumors of DLC for Ragnarok, with leaker The Snitch claiming that Santa Monica were working on DLC for the critically acclaimed Norse-flavored adventure game. Furthermore, a job listing posted by the studio back in August for a combat designer mentioned an unannounced project and specifically mentioned knowledge for the last 2 God of War games. So, and who was it? Who was the voice actor that said they were going back in studio to work on something? I forget what it was. Um, but there was one of the voice actors for God of War mentioned that he was back at the studio doing something. Um, or maybe I'm confusing that with Guerrilla Games, like with one of the Horizon characters. Anyway, Either way, if this is true, more God of War is always good. But my question to you, Zach, is because they obviously didn't do the only DLC that they did for 2018, if you want to call it that, was adding New Game Plus.
Yeah.
Ragnarok, they said they kind of came out and said that this is a complete game. We're not going to do any kind of DLC 6 months after launch, but that doesn't mean that they can't come back and add to the story late, a year after, because that's what Horizon did. Burning Shores came a year after Forbidden West dropped. Um, my question to you is would you rather see like an Uncharted oh, what was the name of the with Chloe and Nadine?
I always forget the name of that one too.
Yeah, but that style, or like a Miles Morales,
Legacy of
like with
Thieves?
Spider-Man.
No. Lost Legacy.
Lost Legacy. Yeah, would you rather see an Uncharted Lost Legacy, Spider-Man Miles Morales type of God of War game, like a halfway where it's not a full game but it's too big to be DLC, or would you rather just see like a nice sized chunk of DLC for Ragnarok?
I'd rather have like a Miles Morales size game
Yeah,
than I would just like a 6 hours DLC. I want something to sink my teeth in.
correct.
If you're gonna let me get back in that world this soon,
Mhm.
I want something more than like some of my favorite DLCs are only like a few hours long, 8
Right.
hours at max, but
Mhm.
I want to live more in that world.
Right.
Um I I could see it being Atreus and his
Mm.
journey.
Yeah.
I could see it being that.
Mhm.
It's going to be one or the other. It's either going to be Kratos or it's going to be Atreus. We're not going to see both
Yeah.
of them in the same place.
Yeah.
Um
And technically the half sequels we have gotten have been sidekicks. So, yeah.
yeah, and I'm fine with an Atreus,
Yeah,
focus thing because we definitely got a lot of Atreus in
for
Ragnarok.
sure. And he played like, yeah, some of his animations were kind of stiff and limited, but they worked for the game.
Yeah. And I think
So,
now that we've gotten even more, like he's developed more of his character, we'll get more like transformations, we'll get more things with him.
correct.
And Agraboda, like being like his sidekick or like, in the thick
Mhm.
of things with him, I think will be very interesting and diving deeper within the Giants lore, seeing if there's any
Mhm.
Giants left out there, that sort of deal.
That'd be
Um,
great. Oh my gosh.
yeah, so there's a lot to explore. I just think, we've heard they're not doing anything. Now we're hearing that they are.
You're
Maybe
right.
it's like, will this come to pass? I hope that if they do DLC, that it will be a more substantial thing than just a few more hours. You get
Right.
to explore a new realm, and that's it. Like I want a good chunk, and I want a story that's told because Miles Morales,
Mhm.
amazing. I loved
Yeah.
Miles Morales' game, and Lost Legacy, super super good. I thought it was
Mhm.
really well done, and like having a self-contained story, not just enough to set up the next one. Like I want it to be self-contained and to
Right.
be
And just
entertaining.
add to it rather than like set it, because Miles had his own story. Like I didn't finish it, but I got about halfway through and it sets up, but it's its own story, but it'll add more to Spider-Man 2, which
Hmm.
next week, bro, it's here. I can't believe it.
I
Anyway,
know.
about to say, Ragnarok, back to that. It's just like I would rather see a half sequel too. And because the IGN article, like the big takeaway I read from that was half sequels are because like we talked about a couple weeks ago, game development is taking so long to do nowadays because of the technology and whatnot, and the demand that and the ideas that the developers have to make their game, that half sequels are that nice median to basically like, hey, we know you're waiting for the next iteration of Uncharted or Spider-Man. Here's something that's not the same scope, but that same narrative love that you have with characters that you recognize from the previous iteration to tie you over until we're ready to put out the next sequel.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm here for it. If it actually is real, I'm here for it.
Well, and remember this last little tidbit. Remember, Lost Legacy was originally just going to be DLC add-on for Uncharted 4,
Yep.
but they came up and Spider-Man and Miles Morales was originally that way as well. But they came up with so many ideas that are like, nah, this deserves its own game release. And now, while granted, doing this kind of thing may not have been in Santa Monica's cards, but all it takes is a couple of storyboard writers to pen out and like actual just take the stuff, the index, the codex that they have, pen out a few ideas, and basically like, hey, we don't have a full game, but we have enough to do another project for us.
Yeah, and thinking on Miles Morales, like it sold really well
For sure.
because it was like a launch game for the PlayStation 5. So, yeah. And
Yeah.
Lost Legacy,
And it came to PS4.
yeah, it did come to PS4 as well. But Lost Legacy sold pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
It sold close to 5,000 copies.
Wow.
5,000,
Yeah.
500,000. 500,000,
Right.
not 5,000.
Yeah, about
500,000.
say.
Half a mil. Half a
Yeah.
mil. Derek, while you drink that, I will prep everyone for some PlayStation Quickies. And Derek is now ready for the PlayStation Quickies.
So yeah, I'm quick with it. Gotta be. Sony confirms the PS5 Slim will still support expandable storage. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 PS5 console bundle is reportedly in the pipeline. No shock there. Bravia Core, rebranded Sony Pictures Core app, is out now on the PS5 and PS4. Sony confirms data breach impacted nearly 7,000 current and former employees. Sony announces the PS5 cloud streaming launches on PS Plus Premium for PS Plus Premium members on October 30th in the US at least. It's launching earlier in other countries, but for the US it'll be the end of the month. Speaking of PS Plus, the extra and premium games for this month have been announced, with highlights including Disco Elysium: The Final Cut, Outlast 2, Dead Island Definitive Edition, Dark Pictures: House of Ashes, Alien Isolation, and Gotham Knights. This may be the last PlayStation exclusive content Call of Duty ever gets, if rumors are to be true, which, again, no surprise. Bungie's former HR manager is suing the Destiny studio for wrongful termination. Silent Hill 2 remake news could be due soon as Steam page is updated with achievements. And lastly, there's another rumor going around that Naughty Dog's The Last of Us multiplayer game will host 40-player lobbies.
Only time will tell if we ever get that Last of Us multiplayer, though.
Yep,
Only
we'll see.
And you can get Gotham Knights on Game Pass. Just saying.
Exactly. So whichever you can get it instead of paying whatever price the game is right now.
Yeah. Also, there are way better games to play than Gotham Knights.
Also very true. But
a little bit that I played, way better games out there than Gotham Knights. And both of us are hardcore in the Arkham universe.
Yeah.
So, which this isn't even the Arkham universe. So,
now I'm gonna be evil for a second to you, Zach. Which would you rather play more of, Outlast 2 or Gotham Knights?
I'd rather play Gotham Knights.
Okay. I just saw those and I'm like, man, those are two games that Zach has hated, with a fiery passion. So I was like, which one does he hate more?
Yeah, definitely Outlast 2.
You're fair.
Never again. Never again. Before we jump into the Patreon quick hits, let me tell you a little bit about the people that bring the Patreon quick hits each and every week. The quick hits are brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Become part of the ship, part of the exclusive crew by going to patreon.com/nerdcave and picking the tier best for you. And with the Patreon update, you can actually go over there right now. I'm typing it in myself. And you can follow our Patreon page for free. And you can get a lot of the content for free. We put out a lot of content for free out there. So go over there, follow us for free. And then if you want to support us, you can do that as well. You can pick the tier that best fits for you, and you can help us be able to do more awesome things.
Anime show.
All those cool things. But now for the Patreon quick hits.
So starting off, Diablo 4 Season of Blood Detailed includes quality of life updates, blood harvest event, and vampiric powers. Dredge DLC The Pale Reach sets sail on November 16th. Some Cyberpunk news. Cyberpunk 2077 sequel is on a, quote, conceptual design level right now. 2077 has sold 25 million copies worldwide. CD Projekt Red confirms plans to release a complete edition of Cyberpunk 2077. However, fixing Cyberpunk 2077 and creating its Phantom Liberty DLC cost CD Projekt Red about $125 million. Lastly, actually two more. A live-action Cyberpunk project is in the works. More layoffs. CD Projekt Red devs form union following the layoffs. Actually, so they're like, we're not going to tolerate this. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Zombies have been detailed, which will feature open world player versus environment setting. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 officially reveals new map and a ton of more info. Modern Warfare 3 and Diablo 4 won't come to Game Pass this year. Nintendo reveals Animal Crossing Lego collab. Atari reveals Berserk Recharged, the first Berserk game since the 1980s. Chat GPT reportedly used to write the Gollum apology. Oof. Big oof. Microsoft reportedly plans to purchase Activision Blizzard tomorrow, or by tomorrow. Microsoft is getting dinged for a cool $29 billion with a B in back taxes. They just can't catch a break. Liza P DLC seemingly revealed from NeoWiz job listing. Netflix renews Castlevania Nocturne for Season 2. New Redfall update finally brings a performance mode, stealth takedowns, and more. X-Defiance preseason has been delayed following public test session. Fortnite update rolls out for Fortnitemares event. Will include Alan Wake, Michael Myers, and Jack Skellington. Layers of Fear gets free DLC chapter on October 24th. Psyonix is removing player-to-player trading from Rocket League on December 5th. A rumor, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree to appear at the Game Awards. Assassin's Creed Mirage was Ubisoft's biggest new-gen launch so far. Dead Island 2 story DLC Hoss confirmed for a November 2nd launch. And lastly, EA Sports FC Tactical is a turn-based strategy game coming to mobile. I can't hear you.
I muted myself.
There we go.
Guys, there's the news. We hope that you enjoyed it. A lot of interesting stuff going on in the world of gaming. Hopefully that will be the last bit of layoffs we will hear about, but I would not hold my breath. I would not hold my breath, but thank y'all for watching. This has been Zach.
Oh gosh. And hold on. General Malachar Voss.
Y'all bless week. Bye. Boom. Now, Derek, I literally have a note at the bottom.
I know.
Literally have a note at the bottom. Just scroll up.
I know. But again, I've had a week off. It feels like I've had a month off. But you know, I know. You do have a note. It is true, guys. He does have a note. What I do is when I finish reading the article, I click over to the YouTube because I can't see you on because of old Bessie. I can't see you on Discord, so I'll have to go over to the YouTube to watch you and see your face and see your reactions to some things. So that's it's on me regardless. But yes.
Thank you, love. Amy says, "Good show, guys." Now, Derek,
thank you.
I'm going to. I just celebrated my year at my job.
Oh wow! Congrats.
Thank
GG's.
You. Thank you. I'll give it a little.
There you go.
So we at my job, they will get things for you for your birthday and for your anniversary and so forth, so on. So I got my anniversary gift in the mail. Well, I had to go pick it up. That's a whole nother story. Neither here nor there. But there was one thing missing from my collection, Derek. One thing that I did not have. And I now am a proud owner of the Halo Edition Xbox Series X. And you can all of its glory is now on the screen. But yes, I got that bad boy the other day, 20th anniversary Halo. Boom.
So how did you score this?
Working at this company.
Wow.
I put it on
I want to know how they got their hands on it.
I literally linked it on a Amazon wish list.
Wow, I'm surprised they're still floating in the wild, but Good for you.
Yeah, I
I'm happy
know.
for you.
Thanks,
Now,
man.
if only the game was good.
Shut up.
Hey, you're the one who bashed
Hey,
Infinite.
I can bash Infinite because I played Infinite.
Played Infinite too. What do you
Dude,
mean?
you played Infinite for like 10 minutes.
I mean, the story, but the multiplayer, fair game.
Yeah, I played Infinite multiplayer for like a whole flipping year every Tuesday and more than that. But yeah,
You got the highlights to prove it.
yeah. So yeah, man, I got me it's super cool looking. I got the controller with it as well. So I got the whole kit and caboodle. I'm excited. I'm excited. I didn't even check if this
Yeah,
thing's
I'm about to
got.
say I'm happy for you. I'm about to say I really wanted to consider getting it when I still worked at the other place, but it was online only, and of course I was working during that period, so I couldn't stop what I was doing
To
and do
order
that. And
one.
of course they were already they were there by the time I even got the news of it, they were already sold out, and I'm like, well, yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, I like it was like, okay, if I get one, I want the cool looking one. So like yeah, I definitely wanted to get this one because it's super cool and
Yeah,
Spartan-y and all of that. So now I don't have to use xCloud as much to play
there
Starfield.
you go. Right.
But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you.
Right. I'm happy for you, man. Like that's awesome. So it's a
Yeah.
really cool design console too. It's not just like a little slap cover skin. Now,
Yeah.
that being said, Phil Spencer, I'm talking to you. If you're watching this, whenever you decide to release Gears 6, or if you even reboot the franchise, that doesn't matter. The next Gears of War game, if you don't give us a Gears themed console, I will literally come to Seattle, find you, and shake you like a tree until you give me what I want.
Shake him like an unloved baby. Oh, yeah, like cuz you got the Gears console, the last one that they put out, the
I got
series.
both of them. I got the 2 terabyte red Xbox One S that they came out with for Gears 4. Then I got the Gears 5 themed Xbox One X that they launched because I'm just like, why not? They both look cool. Because I'm like, should I trade in it? It's the only time where keep two of the same console family in the
Yeah.
household because usually I only get one. Because with my PS4s, I traded my OG for the gold one, and then when God of War came out, the PS4 Pro, I'm like, sorry, Goldie.
Yeah, like I love my gold one, but the PS4 Pro God of War, that's probably my favorite console. Like
For sure.
the design was super cool. Very sad that we didn't get a Ragnarok PS5
I know.
at least
Oh, don't
plates.
remind me.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, we got Spider-Man. Got Spider-Man. It's like,
Just
that's
blame it all
cool.
on Jim Ryan.
Yeah, it's your fault, Jim. Retire. Oh, wait, you already are.
I know. In March.
Yep. Be a good day. Be a good day. Dude, we're literally only 8 days away
I know.
from Spider-Man 2.
Technically 7 days and 3 hours, or less than 2.5 hours, if you want to count the 11 p.m. lunchtime. If you download it early. But yeah, like man, it just hit me today when I was putting the doc together. I'm like, huh, it's the 12th. I'm like, it's tomorrow, and tomorrow's Friday the 13th. And I'm like, oh wait, the 20th is the name. Oh, Spider-Man 2 is upon us. I gotta go pre-order that thing on the PlayStation Store.
So my thought is
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking next Friday off.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's my plan. I'm going to take the Monday off too. I could just play all night.
You could.
I could just stream all night and play. Just web slinging.
Yeah.
Web slinging.
Yeah.
Sounds
Stopping
good.
crime.
Yeah. Slapping crime, punching bad guys.
You're gonna send me all kind of like what was it? Well, I shouldn't, that's not the right words. You're gonna kind of send me all hints, like with images and whatnot, like when you finally got through Ragnarok, or when you caught up to me, and I was just like, oh, Like, and
yeah, you like
but
almost gave away something.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that part. And I'm like, what are you talking
But
about?
you'll return the favor in this part because you know I won't be able to play Spider-Man 2 as much as you will right away.
Yeah. But that'll be good. That'll be good. Well, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. We hope that you enjoyed this installment of the Nerd Cave News. Make sure to hug a goat and put lipstick on in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Because this has been Zach.
And Derek.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye.